Hey guys, so it's part 3, the final part of my testimony, and I promise y'all it's gonna be worth it. Well, at least in my life, to me, where I currently am in life, it's gonna be worth it. I guess, you know. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I don't know about you watching it. Okay, let me shut up. So basically where I left off, I was leaving Chicago, I was going to Houston, and oh, there was something that I wanted to talk about. Oh, just like, the store situation or whatever. So, I was leaving, and I was leaving my employees, and I was gonna set it up to where I still have my shop, and then I was gonna open a shop in Houston or whatever. Also, at this time, I actually had a boyfriend. I never even brought him up because he's kind of an irrelevant part to my story, but I ended up starting to date men. And another thing, I kind of like carried the relationship. I feel like I did more. He did have a job though, so at least he did some stuff, but he didn't do much. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, so he felt like, the way I felt like my other girlfriend was demonic, he felt like I was demonic. Because I, chose to engage in like social drinking and like social going out and stuff like that. Y'all, my hair. Whatever I just had on kind of looked better on screen. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of stuff was going on with my shop. I had got like an email about somebody smoking in my shop. People who wasn't doing music videos in my shop. People wasn't paying. Like, it was just a lot of stuff, and I should have been more responsible as a business owner. I feel like one of the things is I was young. Another thing that happened is somebody had like vandalized my property, and even though they vandalized my property and didn't like own up to it or whatever, and what basically happened is they ended up like leaving these, like, they rented out my shop to, which I don't even know if they paid for it for real. They might have, but I don't think that they paid to like rent out my shop. But I let them do their art show in my shop. Again, I was just too nice. And they put up they posters with like Gorilla Glue instead of command strips, and I told her to put it up with command strips. And when she went to take them down, I guess she ended up putting like holes in my wall. So she didn't even tell me, and it was like on a day where I was doing makeup, so I wasn't really paying attention to what she was doing. Like, I was drunk from the day before because it was one of my employees' like birthday weekend, so the shop wasn't gonna be like open. So I told her, like, she was telling me like, oh, she felt drunk because she come back and do it another day. I'm like, you can come tomorrow because the shop not gonna be open till Monday because I'm having one of my workers like birthday party. She was turning 21 or whatever, so I'm like, I'm just gonna have her birthday party in the shop or whatever. So she had left, and then when she left, I realized that she had left this big hole in my wall. So she ended up not saying nothing, but I kind of like waited for her to say something because I feel like people be so scared of me and like my reactions and stuff like that. And I ended up having to call her because the same guy that was like smoking in my shop and getting us in trouble because they said the whole like bottom floor smell like marijuana, and it's at a time where I don't smoke, guys. They were saying like the whole first floor smell like marijuana, and then they were saying like it was people like in and out the shop like after hours and stuff like that or whatever. And I was getting in trouble for all of this, like, and they were like giving me a hard time about this or whatever. So what was I about to say? So yeah, so I ended up calling her because another situation was going on. One of the guys that I had been letting like be in the shop and have his brand in the shop, when I was buying his clothes out of his trunk, I was buying his clothes out of his trunk when I met him, and I was like, oh, you should come, work in my store, sell your clothes out the store. I even got a rapper in his stuff because of one of my friends was dating a rapper at the time, and she ended up giving him like one of the shirts, like, because he was in my shop. Like, and I don't ever take credit for nobody's talent because I feel like your talent is your own, and nobody can say like they made you or anything. But I definitely boosted the fuck out of him. But he was just like a very disrespectful person. He was the one renting my shop out to do music videos, making money off my shop, not paying no money, none of that. And we ended up getting into it that night. And this is the same night that the girl like put a hole in my wall, and something had happened where I was like injured or whatever, and I couldn't drive. And so he was driving my car. But then at the birthday dinner, like, it was a weird situation. It was at somebody's birthday dinner, and like basically it was a bunch of niggas, and when the bill came, everybody was being weird. Now I had already ate, but I was still gonna pay like the percentage like of whoever was sitting at the table because I didn't even eat or whatever, but I did get like one drink or whatever. So I just was like, can I get my keys? Because I just wanted to go to the car while they was arguing with these white people. So we never even ate. No food came, nothing. They was not even gonna let us eat or whatever. Because like, I don't know, half the people didn't want to eat. No, I did. I was gonna eat, but half the people didn't want to eat. Half the people were saying they already ate, blah, 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 blah. And like, they just kind of like told us to leave because they could tell it was gonna be one of them situations with niggas. And I ain't mad at them because it really was gonna be one of them situations. So I wanted my keys and I was asking the guy, like, can you get my car keys or whatever? Can you get my car keys? And he like, you doing too much. You doing too much. And I'm like, I'm doing too much because I'm asking for my car keys. Like, I want to go sit in the car or whatever. And I don't understand why I got to explain that to him. But I'm just like, just give me my car keys. Like, I just want to go sit in my car. He like, you doing too much. And he started cussing me out. Like, literally in front of all these white people in the restaurant. You doing too much. And I'm just like, is it crack? Like, I don't even understand like why he would be like talking to me like this. So I called a girl who put the hole in my wall, totally forgetting that she put a hole in my wall, just venting to her about the situation. So that's another reason I felt like, you know, maybe she didn't call because I already was blue. So now it's like two situations and you don't want to say nothing, like on some movie type shit where they don't want to say nothing because now you brought up some other stuff. But I feel like be in the dough and tell somebody if you did something. So I ended up texting her the next day like, hey, you need to come in here or whatever and take these things down. Now everybody in the shop knows she didn't put the hole in the wall, and I didn't talk to them about it or whatever. So everybody in the shop like know that it's holes in the walls. It's only one of my workers there or whatever, and she knew it was the girl whose birthday I was throwing a party for. Anyway, the girl come and she goes to take one of the posters down, and I'm like, are you just gonna take it down and you're not gonna say nothing to me about you finna put a hole in my wall? She like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm like, you know you ripped the hole in my wall. Like, she ripped like a big hole in my wall and the paint came off, all of that or whatever. And she was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Then she was like, I did tell you, I told you. How we go from you told me, you don't know what I'm talking about, so you told me. It was just like a big fuss where she was like, what the fuck you think I'm finna do? Like, what you want me to do? You want me to paint it or something? I'm like, yeah, this ain't Trap House Chicago, this Love Paris Chicago or whatever. And she was like, man, I go and get the paint. Like, after she said paint, I'm like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I go and get the paint or whatever. And when I come back, and mind you, while all of this is happening, while we arguing, it's a lady in my shop. It's her daughter, like prom week or whatever. So she getting her hair down. She like using Windex to like spray the glue, trying to like loosen the bond up. Like, she's trying to figure out ways to get like this stuff down without like ripping out the walls or whatever. Cause I've paid on my own money to fix the shop up or whatever. So she was like, I'll bring the paint up. She was like, you think I'm gonna paint this shit right now? Oh, that's when I was like, oh, this ain't Love Paris Chicago. Like, yeah, you need to paint it or whatever. And she walks out and she leaves, and I'm like, okay, so obviously she's gonna go calm down. Well, to my surprise, she sends somebody I don't know. So she ended up sending somebody up there or whatever. And I'm thinking they coming to buy your bundles because I'm just so used to people coming up here like buying hair or whatever. So, and this was like one of my, like, this moment, the reason why I'm even bringing this story up is because this was one of my most like trying moments. And like a lot of times I had to learn to just be still and to let God like deal with stuff when I wanted to deal with it. Like when I wanted to physically deal with it, when I wanted to like physically cause harm to people. But I knew that the best step for me and for me to have the life that I like envisioned for myself and like to follow God's plan, like I would have to take something else. Like this situation that I'm about to talk about has been very hard for me for a very long time. I just kind of let it go in the last like couple months, probably the last year for real. But I held on to this a lot and it fueled my anger a lot because I feel like in this situation I should have never let it go how it went. Okay, so basically the girl came to the door and she was like banging on the door or whatever. Well, she knocked on the door at first and she was like, hey, and I'm like, hey, you here for, you know, hair or like what's going on? Because people come to my shop all the time. Like I was just used to people coming to my shop all the time, walking in, walking through the building. She like, I'm here to get Bree posters. And I'm like, what you mean you here to get her posters? And I don't care that I name dropped her because she was wrong. And I was like, what you mean here to get her stuff? I'm like, she got to get it herself. First of all, we don't even know how to get it off the wall without it putting a hole in the wall. Why would I just let you come and take them down? She was like, no, I'm finna get it. I'm like, no, you're not. So she's trying to like push into my shop and I'm like, you're not finna get in here. And she was like, yes the fuck I am. I'll beat your ass. Like she got on leggings. She got her skin oiled up. Like she's ready to fight. Her hair is in the hotel. I'm just like, girl, what is you doing? Like I got grown older women in here. I got a prom kid in here. I got somebody grandma in here. Like it just don't even make sense that you doing all of this. Like this is a place of business. And at this point I'm 20 years old, but to me I'm a grown woman. I'm doing grown woman stuff. I got my own shop. I got my own business. Like I'm trying to run it properly. Like I'm just trying to, you know, do what I need to do. So she ended up like kicking, like trying to kick through the door or whatever, and like kicking me or whatever. And I like grab her hand. I grabbed one of her hands. No, I grabbed, she was kicking. Yeah, she was like kicking through the door or whatever. And I like closed her leg in the door. That's what I did. I closed her leg in the door. And I on the phone with 911. I'm calling them, blah, blah, blah. This person trying to break in my store, blah, blah, blah. And the police never came. I don't know why, but they never came. She ended up like, I don't know what happened, but let's just skip to the point. She ended up, I'm grabbing her hands because she was trying to swing. I ended up grabbing her hands and she like dragged me back like out the door. So I came out the door and I fell. So I got stairs. So I fell onto like the stairs because she dragged me out like of my door or whatever. I was trying to keep her from coming in, but she just pulled me out instead. So I got her hands so like she wouldn't swing on me or whatever. And she ended up like, when I ended up falling, she ended up kicking me. And when she kicked me, I got cement stairs. So she ended up kicking my head into the cement. Like she kicked me maybe twice before one of the prom girls' mama ended up coming and like grabbing her or whatever. And I'm like, that's already, it's embarrassing that I just got kicked in my head. It's embarrassing I got my head kicked in the concrete. It's embarrassing that I'm not fighting back. Like I wasn't even trying to fight her. I was literally just trying to stop her from swinging or whatever. And then it's embarrassing that somebody mama that's in here getting a child service gotta see this. Like that's kind of like embarrassing as fuck. This is a place of business or whatever. So I called the police and then I asked for the surveillance from the building. The building didn't want to give me the surveillance. So that's another reason. I had owed rent for that previous month and I told her I was not giving her the rent until she gave me the surveillance because I felt like she was doing it on purpose. Like, because I found out that the other girl worked in the building and I just felt like, why aren't you giving me the surveillance for this situation so I could press charges? Because I wanted to press charges. And she just didn't give it to me. She was like, you got people, that's when she emailed me like, you got people smoking, you got people shooting videos. Like she emailed me back that like she didn't want to give me the footage because of that. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you talking about. But then I found out what she was talking about when I found out about the music video. Like all of the stuff just like trickled together. And I don't want this to be too long. Like, okay, let's get out of Chicago. So that was a situation that really put a lot of rage in my heart because I felt like I should have kicked ass and asked questions later. But the adult in me was trying to learn how to, Leo, hold on. Yeah, so the adult in me was kind of just like trying to like run a business, operate a business and be an adult. I feel like sometimes when you got to make a decision for the adult in you and not in the kid in you, or like the anger in you, like really kind of just got to make the decision that God would make, is really, really, really hard. And it tests me a lot because for a long time I just had like scenarios of like my get back and like my revenge, but I think it's just best to leave things to God. And that was something that was really, really hard for me as somebody who does fight my own battles. Like I said, people, you know, really didn't bully me that much, but if it ever got physical, I definitely defended myself other than that first time, and then other than this time. So it was like, it was kind of just bringing me back to like feeling like, I don't know, like it just didn't feel good. And then to know like to this day I don't know who that person was that was sitting in my shop, like to know that somebody came and kicked your head into the concrete and gave you a concussion and you don't even know who that person is, I think for me that's a lot. And it's been a lot for a very long time, but I had to just let it go and give it to God and allow God to make a table for me in the presence of my enemies, because I don't know who them people is. I don't know if they checking on me or not checking. Like I don't know them people. So I only know the photographer Bree from Chicago, who was the one who sent her. That's all I know. So yeah, that is that part. Okay, so now leaving to Chicago, going to Houston, eviction, all of this stuff. I'm dealing with all of this stuff. When I'm in Houston, life is lit. I'm doing pop-up shops. I'm driving around. I'm popping up at HBCUs. I'm making a lot of money. I really could afford the rent at my store at this point, but it was unfortunate that the situation happened how it happened, with the water bill, with all of the not sending me the camera footage, with people not paying their booth rent. Like it all just kind of added up and it just happened how it happened, and it was a very irresponsible way for it to happen, but it was what it was. I was going through so much stuff. I had so much anxiety just about that whole situation and about just the atmosphere in Chicago. My one friend that I was really getting close to, and I hated that I had to leave, Nico, she had told me like, I don't think you belong in Chicago. I think you should leave. Like you better than this place. And I really do truly believe that. I love Chicago deep in my roots, but I feel like I'm much better than the ceiling that Chicago provides, because it's a crab in a city. It's a crab in a bucket type of city. You know, if you at the top, get your ass down. All people want to do is pull you down. So I was happy to go, but I did struggle badly with anxiety. But I hit the road and I kept busy. For me, when I'm dealing with stuff, being busy is, Leo, get your ass over here. When I'm when I'm dealing with anxiety and stuff, I think that keeping busy and keeping to my work is something that keeps me, I swear to it's something that keeping busy is just something that like keeps my mind, you know, at ease, even though it wasn't that at ease, but at least when I was working. So I went to GSU, I went to Clark, I went to Spelman, I went to FAMU, I went to Xavier, Zula, I went to all different types of school, Georgia State, and I just traveled and I did pop-up shops because I was really popular on Twitter. People was looking forward to me coming and popping up with my accessories. I was making a lot of money. It was paying my bills, it was paying for me to eat, it was paying for, you know, my lifestyle. I was selling vendors lists at the time, and that helped a lot too. I was doing makeup. Well, I wasn't doing makeup at this point, but I started to do makeup after a while. But like when I got to Houston, the first day I got to Houston, so it was my birthday, the day that we were supposed to get there. We did end up getting there that night, but the next day we had a pop-up shop. So we stopped, we got the moving truck, and we went from Chicago to where I said she went to school at? Ole Miss? No, that ain't it. Anyway, we went to her school, whatever school she went to. I forgot the school name already. But we went to her school to pick up her stuff because she was moving with me. So we went and got a rental truck. But when I got out there, she didn't have anything packed. So she had us pushed behind schedule. This is my girlfriend. Oh yeah, so like I said, I had a boyfriend, but I ended up leaving him and going back to the girl. No. You know what? I ended up leaving him for a girl. I met her after. I ended up like, did I meet her after? I don't know what happened, but I definitely ended up leaving him for a girl. I don't know if I met her first or not, because they just not that relevant anymore to me for me to think that much. But either way it go, I definitely cheat on him with her. Let me see. So yeah, I went to her school, and I went to go pick her up with the rental truck or whatever. We got a rental truck out there, and she was not packed, so she messed up my whole schedule. She was supposed to be making her products, which she also sold in my store in Chicago. She was supposed to be making her products. She never made them. So we take this long drive to Houston. I want to say it was like 16 hours. I'm in the rental truck. I got the rental truck on my, I got the rental on my, the rental thingy on my truck, and she in her car. No, she had no car. Yeah, she had a car, and she in her car, and we driving, and y'all, we get in an accident as soon as we leave because the girl just, oh, she used to work my nerves. She turned too early. Like, it was a highway, but it was like a dead end road. I don't know what made her turn that way. Like, it was nothing there. And then when we hit each other and I opened the door and got out the car, the fucking cat Princess ran out of the car and ran on like to the almost to the highway, and then ran back, and we had to catch him. So it was just like so much. I was just like, that should have been a sign that I should have took my ass. Not only did my money get stolen when I went to go even find my Houston apartment and my ID and everything by TSA, not only did all my stuff get signed, like there was so many signs of me not to go to Houston. I should have went to Dallas, but that's neither here nor there. So I get to Houston the first day. We have to sleep in the car because we didn't make it on time because of her. We didn't make it on time, so we didn't get there till like 9 p.m. and Lisa and Angel was already gone, so we slept in the car the first night. And then as soon as the office opened, like 12 hours later, we ended up getting the key and moving in or whatever. And we had a pop-up shop that day, so as we moving in and stuff, we still got to get ready for a pop-up shop. I'm thinking she already made her products. She didn't make her products, so now it's time to go. It's like 2 o'clock. It's time to go. She hasn't made her products. Y'all, also, it's a U-Haul on the back of my car. Y'all, I drive my car with the U-Haul to the pop-up shop. I just put the stuff in the back of the thing, y'all. Well, I tried to drive up in the parking garage and like allegedly I knocked down like the top of a, like, you know when it's like a height limit, yeah, I knocked down some shit. Anyway, but yeah, we had, before we even got there, because it's the point, before we even got there, like, this is when I first realized she had a lot of rage in her. I should have realized earlier she had jealousy issues when she was jealous of like my relationship with my workers and stuff. But she just, I started to realize she had like a couple like anger, mental type issues or whatever. So and I got anger issues, so yeah, I'm just I just don't take them out on my significant other for real. Anyway, so I kept on asking her to hurry up, make our products, hurry up, make our products. And because I was rushing her, she got mad and she ended up taking like y'all know them things from Target where you store all your like clothes and stuff in them plastic little drawer thingy. She ended up taking my thing with all my makeup in it and knocking it down. So the reason I didn't do makeup when I first got to Houston is because she broke half of my makeup. She broke that shit and it was just like shattered. Like I was doing makeup and it was like I broke one of these. It was like everything was like pieces because she had broke shit. And to retaliate, I ended up knocking her stuff on the ground, and then I ended up crying because I do not like to hurt people's feelings. Like, it hurt my feelings to do some stupid shit because I'm retaliating. Like, I feel like when I have to do stuff to get even, like, that hurt me more than it hurt the other person. I do not like to harm people. I only harm people when I have to. Like, I don't enjoy like getting revenge or hurting people. Like, I'm just not a antagonist like that. Like, I don't live for harming people because I don't like to be harmed. So I would never do that to other people. Anyway, that was the beginning of our like very unhealthy situation. We would have a lot of arguments. We would have arguments in front of people. Like when I'm doing vending, she want to argue with me. I would say like I didn't like the way that she flirted with men in front of me. Now I will say that I think I did have an issue with that, but she didn't like that I didn't like her handling my money. Like I would be gone getting like vendors and stuff. Now I ain't argue with her in front of nobody about no man. I would argue with her about that at home. But at the end of the day, it was kind of like she getting her money, but sometimes she used to take it too far. It'd be a nigga that ain't even buying shit, and I'd be like, you need to move around. I think I ain't even argue with her. I would tell them like, move around. You're not even gonna get shit. Like, and I feel like she would. It would almost be like, you know, they not finna buy shit. Why is you entertaining it? It's one thing to entertain a nigga when he finna buy some shit, but like this nigga, look, bro, this nigga don't have no money. He not finna buy nothing. And she would just like make it seem like, oh, he didn't buy nothing because you know he didn't buy nothing because he wasn't finna buy nothing. And that was my issue. I think on my end, but on her end, I didn't want her like managing my money. Like she was getting all my money sent to her account or whatever, and then it would look like she's sending me thousands of dollars. And this ended up happening exactly what I thought was gonna happen. But yeah, so one day I'm just like, hey, stop sending the money to your account, send it to my account. She like, you act like I'm gonna steal from you, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I'm paying for the hotel, I'm paying for the vendor fee, I'm paying for this, I'm paying for that. All of the money should be coming out of my account so it can balance like the way it needs to balance, so I can know the number, so none of it should be coming from you on Cash App. That don't look right. You know, it should be transactions of business. I should know how much. I shouldn't be getting lump sums of money from you. I should know this. I got a $17 payment of this, dollar payment of this. But if somebody not, you know, business savvy, then maybe they don't understand. But for me, it just didn't make sense. It don't matter that we in a relationship. Like business and personal is separate, and I feel like that's one thing with dating women, that women don't understand like the separation of business and personal because they so emotional. And I'm not a very emotional person. Like I'm just really detached from my emotions. Well, I was at this era, and I feel like people find that offensive, especially dating women. Like they find that so offensive. So I just felt myself like in a lot of situations where women just like felt, you know, like provoked because I wasn't emotional. So she would argue with me in public. I would be taking an order, she would be like in my ear. She would be like dragging me, like, let's talk about like why we not talking. Like if I just want to ignore her and do my work, like it was really, 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 really bad. Okay, so at some point we end up reaching our breaking point. I was on the phone with one of my exes, the one that I felt like was demonic, and I said that. But one thing about me and this girl is she was the first person, you know, I had with my trauma. So I feel like I bonded with her still, you know, like if you just went through trauma and this the first person you open up to, like that person always gonna have like a special place in your heart. Like still to this day, you know, like I still got love for her and I still respect her from a distance, you know. But I was on the phone with her and I was asking her something, and the girl that I was with got like real bad, but we had already decided like we was breaking up. And you know, like I told her like she had to December to move out or whatever, and at this point it's like September, the end of September, October. No, it's at the end of October or whatever. No, it's November, because we had like a little cute little, it was cute, it was fun, a little cook-off for Thanksgiving. But yeah, we had already decided like we was gonna be done, like she was gonna move out by the new year, blah blah blah. So I'm on the phone with her, and like this is somebody who like actively lays in my bed and talks to me, and like I just don't even, I think she does it to provoke me, but I don't do it to provoke her. Like, so when I stepped out and I got on the phone with my my ex in the living room, she just came out there like, you don't even F with her, you doing all of this because you like trying to make me jealous. I'm just like doing a lot of rah-rah. So I ended up getting off. I didn't get off the phone. I went in my room and I just laid in my bed because she was out there screaming. So I just went in my room and laid in the bed. Like, on some ignore you like that used to provoke her, because when she want to talk, I don't want to talk. I need a second to sit there and process it, and then we could, you know, like, I don't want to talk right away when you yelling and screaming. I came from an abusive household. I seen the yelling and the screaming and the doing this and the doing that. I don't want to repeat that process, you know. So I just don't. I'm just not a very confrontational person, even though I am. Like, I'm very rah, but at the same time, if you know me, you know, like, I really just be ignoring shit. For the most part, I get rah, but if I don't have to, I won't. And I try to check the rah in me as much as I can, because I'm, at the end of the day, I'm a Leo. I'm a lion. You know, I got that roar up on me, but I try, you know, to purr as much as I can. But okay, so I'm in the bed and I'm talking to the girl, and she's just in the phone, just, you know, screaming and doing the most, and she ends up throwing a book at my head. Now, let me tell you, she didn't put her hands on me. So I skipped this part. When we had the disagreement about the sending the money, she ended up like muffing me in my face and like pushing me. Now, this is her second time putting her hands on me. She knocked my stuff over when she first got there, and she like pushed up on me, like muffed me. And Atlanta, she like pushed up on me and like tried to like choke me. Now I would say more of a like, just like a hit, not even a choke. I was doing a choke. Not in Atlanta. She like choked. I'm sorry, I choked. She didn't choke. She like muffed me and like kept like hitting on me or whatever. Just like, I don't know, just like, you could call it love taps, but I don't call that shit love taps. Like, she was swinging for real. But this time she threw a book on me, and like, she threw a book at my head, and I blacked. Like, it was like third strike, you out. Like, you're not finna keep putting your hands on me. Like, I done had to put this girl out the car at random hotels. Like, this has been an ongoing toxic like environment where I done left her in a hotel all night, spent the night somewhere else. Like, it gets terrible. It got terrible with her so many times. So I ended up just blacking, and I ended up like choking her to the point where like I just blacked. And when I heard her like gasping for air, I ended up like coming back and like dropping her, and she like dropped to the ground, like almost lifeless. Like, and I just was kind of like, ooh, nah, I can't do this. Like, I just almost killed this girl. Like, I just took it too far. Like, I just strangled her. Like, this is literally crazy. Like, I'm not about to be in jail losing my life because somebody keep like picking with me, antagonizing me, and then I finally react, and then now I'm a goddamn killer. Like, now I'm not gonna do this. So I end up telling her like, you gotta get out tonight. Like, it's no exceptions. Like, you gotta get out tonight. I'm like, you getting out tonight? She like, I'm not getting out. I'm like, yes you is. I end up, I'm sorry, Peta and everybody else, I ended up throwing the dog out. I threw the dog down the stairs in the cage because I needed her. Y'all, this is wrong. Let me say, everything that I did this night was wrong. It just had to be done. So I took the cage and I threw the dog out, and I threw him down the stairs because I needed her to go after the dog. Like, I knew she was gonna go after the dog. As soon as she went after that dog, I closed the door and I locked it. You're not getting back in here. Take your phone, take your anything you need. And she ended up, I had called the police. I was like, because I wanted her to get up out of my house. The police ended up telling me they was gonna arrest me, and then because she had mail at the house that she because she had, I guess she had marks around her neck, so she was telling me like, oh, the police said I can get you, I could arrest you, or blah blah blah, I'm gonna press charges or whatever. And it was really wild. It was really crazy. And they told me like she had mail at the house, so she was technically a resident. I guess that's the law in Houston. I said, I don't give a fuck. I pay this rent every month. This lease in my name. You're not gonna tell me who the fuck can be in my house, especially if I'm mad as hell. Like, this how people be. No. So I put her ass out. So she went to somebody's house. Now, mind you, she had been, like I said, we've been separated. So she had been fucking with somebody, and she didn't think I know, but I just didn't care. She had been fucking with this girl or whatever, and this girl got a girlfriend, so I didn't know like what the situation was. I didn't know if they was on a polygamous stuff, but I did not care. Like, I was so done with her, like, and I just should have been done earlier, but I just was like, at that point, you know, when a woman at their breaking point, it's over with. So that next day she came, all her stuff was in the hallway. Like, I put Now, mind you, I went and got her from school. We were supposed to get the moving truck in Chicago, but it was none available because it was graduation weekend and it was like Mother's Day weekend, all that stuff. People move a lot during that time. It was like May, not May. It was August. What I'm talking about? It was August, but it was like around, people was graduating. I don't know if they was graduating from summer school or what, but it wasn't no U-Hauls in Chicago. Let me just say that. So when I went to go get her from school, that's when we got the U-Haul. So we took her bed instead of my bed, and I threw my bed away. And we took like most of her furniture. So now I'm taking everything that's not mine out the house. That means furniture. We ain't had no couch, so it was just like a bed. Why didn't we have no couch? I don't know, but we ain't had no couch, so it was like a bed and everything that was hers. So I'm going through the house, and I'm talking about my house is a mess because I'm going through, I'm pulling out, I'm throwing shit. I'm mad as fuck. Like, I'm mad as fuck. Like, I'm pulling out everything, and I end up taking everything, the bed frame apart. Mom on the phone like, how the fuck did you clean out this house this quick? Like, it was a mess. It wasn't clean, but I like took everything. I went through the closet, throwing shit out the closet. You would have thought like it was like, I keep seeing shit at movie scene, but my life has really been crazy. So what's it called? Who Keke Palmer be with Angela Bassett when she threw all his clothes out or whatever. It was like my closet looked like that. The house looked like that. The house was a wreck. It was makeup everywhere. It was this everywhere because I went through every little thing. I didn't want her coming back and asking me for shit. So the house was destroyed. The house was destroyed. But I took everything that was hers and got it out. So I put it all out in the hallway, and she came with a moving truck, and she really did take her stuff, but she wanted to come in and go through everything and find stuff. So she found maybe like 2-3 things. She went in, I think she like went and took some seasonings or something, take it, like anything that she felt like I missed, she went in there, and she took, and I was go ahead. She was on the phone, and I didn't know who she was on the phone with. It turned out she was on the phone with my mama, but she did a lot during these times. And honestly, I feel like looking back, she had a lot of depression from her relationship with her mom, and I understand what that feel like. And I also feel like she had a lot of depression just from like what she ended up telling me later on, from just like, you just left college and you don't know what you're doing with your life, and then you next to somebody that seemed like they got their shit together, but it's crazy because you knew for a fact that my shit wasn't together. Like, I was going through all type of shit, and I feel like we could have just went through our problems together, but it wasn't like that. And I also had kind of just got unattracted that she wasn't trying to work. Like, I feel like she was such a good chemist and such good at what she did, but I just didn't feel like she was like putting everything into play. Like, I feel like she's so good at, even to this day, like I feel like she's so good at like her hair care line. I've even like hit her up to like get hair care, and to my surprise, she just always like in a cuss me out mood, which is, I don't know, like I don't have no beef with none of my exes. Like, I feel like we are individuals, and we all like, you know, have our own version of a story with somebody, and we all get affected in different ways by people. But at the same time, I feel like because I'm so grown, I do understand, like I said, mommy issues, graduating college. With me, I got this wrong and I got this wrong, and when those two worlds collide, it could just be a lot. But I always forgive people, like and I like to move on. Like, I don't really have no bad bones with none of my exes on my side, but I know that most of my exes do not fucking like me, and I understand that, honestly, because being that girl, and you probably gotta see me on the timeline, and you know, you got your version of whatever whatever affected you. I know what affected me. She might have some other shit that affected her, you know, like but it just got bad. She told me that she told me recently that I owe her like a public apology, and honestly, I don't understand it. Like, I've called, like I said, oh, I didn't get to this part yet, but I called around like when I got to LA, and I like apologized to everybody that I've ever been with family members and everything, just when I started like my healing process. And at first it seemed like she accepted it. Like, we talked a couple times, and then it just went into like, you owe me a public apology. And I just was like, what is going on? Because we have talked since then, we have been cool. Like, I don't understand. But you know, people gonna be who they're gonna be. Like, that's not my business. I feel like I wish her the best. I think she's a great chemist. I think like our experience together was great for what it was, but it was also very toxic, and just like we weren't meant for each other, and that's okay. It's no bad blood, it's no smoke. Like, we just moved on, and I think that, you know, that's the best thing two people can do. Okay, so then after this relationship, I hop into another relationship. And not a relationship. This was my last relationship. So this was 5 years ago, me and this girl, and I haven't been with nobody since. But I did get into a situationship. It wasn't a relationship, but it was a situationship. And during this time, I was very like suicidal, very just like depressed. And she was very depressed because her mom passed. And like, yeah, we was just two depressed people bonding, and like hurt people, and we was hurting each other. But then it got physical. It started with her roommate being physical with her girlfriend, and she had pulled a gun on her, and that like shook me because, again, I come from an abusive household. I've seen these things, I've grown up with these things, so I didn't want to be around that. And I was complaining and I was crying all the time about like the abuse that they had going on in the other room, and then it came over to our side, and now I was being abused. I don't know if like, I don't know what, but yeah, so now I wanted to, when we would argue, I would want to just leave. Like I said, I'm a flight type of person. I'm not a fight, I'm a flight. I'm definitely getting up out of there. I'm isolating, I'm running, you know, I'm moving, I'm shaking and jugging, okay? So I would just like leave anytime like we got into an argument, like, baby, I got my own apartment, like I will go to fuck home. And mind you, like this was quickly, like not quick, but like it was very soon after the girl left or whatever. And I was very depressed. Like that house kind of stayed in a condition of like shit just being everywhere for a long time, just off depression. Like it just kind of looked how it looked when she left, and because I was always at the other girl house, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I feel like it was very emotional for me to deal with, like going in that house and just like putting everything up and nothing have a space no more because all the furniture gone, and you know, like it was just weird. Anyway, one time we got into it and I was trying to leave and she was not allowing me to leave, so I ended up running out the house or whatever. Like she was putting her hands on me and I ended up running out the house, and when I was running down the stairs, she like dragged me up the stairs. And I have bruises and I have pictures and I have, you know, like bruises and bloody this and bloody that. And she put my clothes in the, bleached my clothes in the tub, and she took my iPad, and she's come in the shop when I was working doing makeup, and she's taking my phone for the day. Like it was just a lot of abusive behavior. And for me personally, I don't do abusive relationships. Like I just always knew that I would not like do what I seen, you know, happening to the adults around me growing up. Like I was like, I would never be in an abusive relationship. And as soon as I identified that I was in one, like as quick as it happened, I was, you know, like I said, I'm flight. I am not fight, I am flight. Like I am not fighting my significant other. I would fight a bitch off the street. I would fight like anybody. But when it comes to my significant other, like abusive relationships, I don't feel like are healthy, and I just will not be a part of one, like ever. And I will never subjectify myself to no shit like that. So I wanted to leave. She wasn't letting me leave in. My toe was cut up and bleeding. I'm not gonna disturb y'all with them pictures, but like if it ever gotta be put into play, like if a bitch ever say I'm lying, like just know that I got receipts for everything that I'm saying. And that's also lawsuit type of shit. I wouldn't even have to prove myself, but if it was some lawsuit shit, like I definitely have photos and timelines of everything I'm saying. Every single story I done told, I got receipts from. I'm a receipt type of bitch. But yeah, so yeah, like toes scraped up from being dragged up the stairs, bruises, hand, like everything just bloody, my iPad gone, like, and I honestly just was like, okay. So I ended up leaving the apartment that I was in. Now mind you, while all of this is happening, me getting my ass beat, this is when I go viral for kicking that girl out of my shop during this time. So I was on my cycle at the time. So I already just had an attitude. She had an attitude. I had an attitude. We had an attitude. I do think she had the attitude first. I was in a good mood that day. I was in a real good mood, a positive mood. I feel like I was really only going through stuff behind the scenes. But I do think that my anger was misplaced. I think when it finally came out, that it came out a little bit too much because I was just dealing with all of this and nobody knew I was dealing with all of this. And I never even said to this day, till today, till right now, that I was dealing with all of this during this time. And it's still not an excuse to, you know, treat somebody the way that I treated that little girl. But I was doing makeup one day, and basically one of my clients didn't show, and then the other client was on live, like asked me could she come early, and I was kind of like just rolling my eyes like, girl, I guess nobody coming on time. Like I was talking shit, like I was like, nobody's coming on time, nobody, you know, like doing what they supposed to be doing. Like my clients be getting on my nerves. Y'all know I'm still like that today. I always be saying like my clients be getting on my nerves because they do. Like I just be feeling like people so inconsiderate of your time and like of what you got going on. And I was sitting on live doing my makeup. I'm like, if you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. Like my clothes was off. I was in the shop like comfortable. Like I was cramping. I had took my pants off or whatever. Like I had my shorts on. And when she came in, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. So I'm just like, hey, what's going on? She was like, I'm here to go, I makeup done. I'm like, okay, what you wearing? She was like, a go dress. I'm like, what the dress look like? She like, a go dress. Like from jump, it was just like, you know, like attitude or whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay. So then I put like the brushes down and I, you know, moved over to her. But I feel like when you got anxiety in your body, you don't pay attention to the shit you doing. So I remember somebody was like, oh, I use the same brush. And I don't think I use the same brush, but even if they saying that, that's the type of shit you don't pay attention to when you got anxiety and somebody got an attitude around you. You more so focused on their attitude and making sure that shit don't go left. You're not thinking about the shit that you're doing. But my sister was over there washing brushes, so I highly doubt like that I was just like using the same brush. But even if I was, like I said, I was not focused on what I was supposed to be doing. I was focused on why the fuck did this girl got an attitude. Anyway, somebody on live asked like, where's her hair from? Her hair was so pretty. And I was like, where your hair from? She was like, I don't know. And I was like, she don't know. And she was like, Dave was like, you so cute. She was like just looking at me like, and maybe she didn't want to be on live, you know. I was already on live when she walked in, but I think she could have just been like, I don't want to be on live. But that might be a lot to somebody that's already on live, you know. But it was like I was already on live when you was coming, so you knew I was on live. Like I had been on live all day. All my other clients was cool. Like I don't know, it was just a little weird. But I think she had something going on too. So anyway, I'm asking her to smile. So I ask people to smile when I line their lips because it make the curve of your lip out. You know, when you like this, it's not as easy as when you doing like this. So it makes it easier for me. And people like, she ain't gotta smile, you know, like people saying that after the video, like, oh, she don't gotta smile. I'm like, well, that's my technique. I mean, she ain't gotta smile maybe when she in your chair, but in my chair, that's a technique that helps me do people's lips. Even to this day, I be irritated when people don't smile when I ask them to because it helps me get a straight line. That's why that line be crooked as hell when y'all getting y'all lipstick done. So unless you use a cream, then it's a little easier, but I'm using pencils. So yeah, so it was just like a lot of like attitude. And somebody was like, why she got an attitude? I'm like, I don't know why she got an attitude. And I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have looked at that live camera and sat there and been like, I don't know why she had an attitude. But I think I was just fed up, not only with like my clients and the day and people just not respecting your time and respecting like the organization of your day, but also just everything that was going on in my life. And she was probably irritated with everything that was going on in her life. But at the end of the day, I was a 22-year-old adult and she was a 18-year-old child, which I don't think is a big difference. That's like a freshman and a senior getting into it, which is like, yeah, pick on somebody your size, but at the same time, yeah, she was a child and I was an adult. She was 18 and I was 22. So people, you know, that went viral and that was like a big thing. And I'm dealing with that while I'm dealing with, I go home from that day and my house is broken into and there's pictures of my apartment all over the place. And they're like, oh, look at this mess. And it's still messy from when I kicked the girl out of my house or whatever, but it's also messy because somebody broke into my fucking house. Like there's no furniture, so that looked crazy to be taking a picture of somebody's house and there's no furniture and there's just shit everywhere because there's nowhere for it to go because there's no furniture and somebody broke in here and they busted bottles open. It was just like a lot going on. My door was broken into. I still got a picture of that. Like, so I ended up moving into a different apartment after I did like a police report about my house being broken into and just like the domestic violence and all of that stuff. So I moved into a different apartment. So once I signed that lease, same thing that happened. It's so crazy. Like I don't know if God be putting like crazy stuff be happening so that I could just get up and move, because it seemed like, I don't know, I'm gonna just say what it is. Okay, so I end up going to the next apartment. So when I moved to the next apartment, they just basically tell me because of domestic violence, like it's like basically the same lease or whatever, so I'm paying the same amount, it's the same apartment, it's in a different, so they got different buildings but the same apartment, like in like 6 different, y'all know when it's like a village of the same type of apartments, it was like that. So I moved and then they told me like, oh, I had to pay like an extra $1,000. It was either like, it was some type of weird bill and I'm like, no, I don't. I paid all my bills at the last house and it's just a new, she was like, this is the deposit for the newer place. I'm like, no, it's the deposit from the last place. So until they figured that out, I'm not giving y'all my money and then keeping on paying while y'all figure it out and then getting my money back. No, I'm not paying no extra money. I don't have to pay no deposit because it's domestic violence. Now you telling me I owe $1,000 deposit? No, I don't. Like, these are money. These are big differences in my bank account that's gonna make a difference. I'm not giving you $1,000 if I don't owe you $1,000 when you still got my $2,200 deposit from the last place. So why would I owe you $1,000 here? Anyway, that started to get, like, I wasn't paying my rent until they cleared that. So I think I was in there for a month. Well, I had just, it wasn't even the end of my lease yet. It was like my last month of my lease, and then I was gonna renew it. So once none of that got figured out, I just told my little sister, because my little sister was living with me. Actually, it was a 2-bedroom and I had a 1-bedroom at the time. But like I said, they told me I didn't have to pay no new deposit or nothing, and I just paid a higher rent. So and they got new management. That was another thing. They was getting new management, and I felt like they was just fucking up the numbers because they had just got new management. And then I was telling them, like, the reason that I got to move is because domestic violence, and then they was asking me for my case number and all of this shit. And in Houston, you just get a number, and they was asking for a file rather. And I'm like, it's a number. I don't got no damn file. But I had the police officer number. I'm like, I don't know what else you want or whatever. So anyway, okay. Fast forward. Yeah, so my sister living with me. We probably live in there for like a month. I'm sleeping like on an air mattress. I still ain't got no bed, and I'm just a little bit depressed and a little bit sad and a little bit like don't want to be outside. Like, people talking shit. Like, I left the shop that I was at because they was bothering her. I don't want to be outside because of this relationship I was in, and she know everybody, and we all know the same people. My little sister living with me, and she not doing shit. Like, she going to work, but like she not contributing to the household, and she just want me to, like, I would ask her to like bring home water or something, and like she would not even do that. She would be like, I already got in the line. Like, everything was just kind of like pissing me off or whatever. My car at this point had got taken. Like, it wasn't working no more. So I told y'all I paid like the $12,000 for it to get fixed, and I paid it, and it got fixed, but at some point it stopped like starting and stuff. So it would start sometimes, but I would have to go in the front and like play with it, and like at some point it just stopped coming on. So when it stopped coming on, I stopped paying the car note, because at this point I already been paid off the car 3 times. I'm steady getting my car towed to the lot and having to pay it off because parking and Houston parking, and it was just too much going on. I was just like, y'all can take the fucking car. So I'm driving my sister car when I do got a car. They didn't take the car until I left LA though. The car was still, I think they took it right before like a little bit before I left to LA, because the car was just sitting there parked. It didn't work for like at least the last 2 months that I was in Houston. My car didn't work because when I was with that girl, I rarely drove my car over there. She pretty much, and because they didn't have parking in there, I couldn't park in there, she pretty much like picked me up and dropped me off, but I would get my ass in the Uber. So anyway, I ended up, dang, why these videos so long? I'm telling y'all too much. So anyway, I ended up deciding like I'm gonna go to LA, like I'm gonna follow my dreams, and I'm gonna get to Fashion District, and I'm just gonna try something new, and I'm gonna leave all of this. And I do feel like I am a runner from my problems, but at the same time I had just came off of a trip. So after the whole thing went viral, I ended up going on a trip who is my now mentor. She took me on a trip to do her makeup to Puerto Rico, and it was my first time where I thought I was out the country, but you know, everybody came at me on Twitter like, bitch, you're not out the country, blah blah blah. But at the time I thought I was out the country, and it's so far off the map from the US that shit out the country from me, okay? But I have experienced my first trip, my first like big flight, and it was just like so different. And it was just like you know, like when the noise just shut off, like I realized like I really love like this vibe, and like it just meant a lot to me. And I was just like, I think that I want something better for myself. I think that Houston is not for me. I think that this place has just been toxic since I got here, and like all the situations I dealt with, like I just am ready to put it behind me. I don't like it here. I don't like the people here. I don't like the girls, and that all they do is be bottle girls, and like they don't have no goals for themselves but for a man to take care of them and to shake ass in the club and twerk. Like that environment for me, like I didn't feel like they had no real goals but like the fake brunches, and it just was like not a real good environment to me. And I'm from the city, and I just felt like it was just a fake vibe. So I was just like, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna leave all my problems here. I'm gonna leave all of this stuff here. I'm gonna leave this, you know, everything here. They pissing me off with the apartment or whatever. And I was like, I'm about to go. So I ended up leaving. I packed up all my stuff. I told my sister she had to find somewhere to go, and she ended up getting like a apartment for her school or whatever. And yeah, I ended up leaving. And y'all know, unfortunately, my cats, I had cats at the time, 2 cats. This girl had told me that she was gonna take them, but the whole time she just wanted to meet me, and then she ended up blocking me because she only wanted to meet me. But when I was asking her like why she wasn't taking the cats, she was like, oh, I just wanted to meet you, I'm embarrassed, blah blah. And I'm just like, you wasted my time. I thought this whole time I had a solution for my cats, but I never did. Y'all, I cannot believe this video this long and I gotta make another part. What the fudge? What the fudge? Okay. But yeah, that was Houston. Houston was very, very, very traumatic for me, which is probably why I hate it so much. I hate Houston like as a city. The food was good after a while. At first I like hated it because Chicago food is just better, but it was good. When I got to LA, I realized like, damn, you know what, I miss it now. But yeah, it was just like a really hard and dark time in my life, and it was like the most anxiety I think I've ever dealt with, and like the most like pain I think I've had to deal with, like physical harm, suicidal thoughts. Like I was very suicidal. I attempted suicide there. It was just a lot for me, and it was just very, very heavy, and I just felt like, okay, it's time to go and it's time to start over in another place and just leave all these demons here. And like I said, I'm flight or fight. I'm a flight type of person. I'm not a fight type of person. So I felt like it was my time to escape and go to the next place. So now we are going to LA, and I swear, I don't know how I have 4 parts to this, but I swear that this will be the last part. I talk so much, but I swear that this is the last part. Okay, so I'm gonna just put my camera on the charger for this last part because I'm not stopping and letting it charge again. Okay, I'll see y'all in the last part, and we going to LA and we healing. It's a lot more peace in this part. This was the last of the big trauma. Okay, we healing in this next part. Okay, all right.